Welcome to the Digital I Ching Library Companion Playlist. This is Hexagram 6, Conflict. If you have any questions on the application, language, or terms in this material, watch Introduction Part 1 and Part 2 of the series. When you perform a digital draw and you receive this hexagram, no matter what you're doing, be that a plan, an initiative, or an immediate action that you want to undertake immediately afterwards, you may want to stop halfway. The Oracle is giving an early warning of a minefield of problems that lay ahead that will deprive you of precious energy, time, and well-being. Though it isn't seen right now in this moment, should you continue on your intended path or choice, all parties involved, including yourself, will not have a good time. Where it concerns interpersonal conflict, where it concerns legal matters of litigation, propriety, formal obligation, regulation, and the need for fairness, you should immediately consult appropriate legal experts. The majority of all conflicts that we go through and throughout history are caused by a forgetfulness of social contract, functioning rules, and protective measures that provide fairness to all people. To halt halfway in most of these conflicts seems counterintuitive or like you're being defeated, but it's not. This is about not wasting energy on conflicts that are ultimately pointless or futile. Also, please be advised, for new beginners in I Ching divination or divination in general, do not give legal advice if you do not have any jurisdiction, experience, or license to do so. The judgment of Hexagram 6 states, conflict. You are sincere and are being obstructed. A cautious halt halfway brings good fortune. Going through to the end brings misfortune. It furthers to go and see the great one. It does not further one to cross the great water. Most of the major conflicts that we go through in our daily lives are petty, small, and inconsequential. This hexagram is talking about having the courage to commit to compromise where it's appropriate. When it says you are sincere, regardless as to whether or not you think that you're right or if you actually are, you need to halt halfway. Being right in this situation will not assist you. Compromise prevents an even greater loss down the road. To continue onward just because you want to is the same as sincere, except you have no moral backing in the matter. Should you choose to go forward all the way, no matter what the endeavor is, you'll find hidden trouble visible at the last second without a means of escape. If there is an actual conflict, seek out a great one to act as a third party to settle matters who has no connection to either side of the argument. Major life moves or initiatives at this point will fail. It is better to wait. The image of Hexagram 6 states, heaven and water go their opposite ways, the image of conflict. Thus, in all their transactions, the superior one carefully considers the beginning. The image of this hexagram shows two elemental opposites. Heaven typically rises, water falls. Conflict is a natural part of life, and oftentimes the conflict described in this hexagram is about perpetuating pointless conflict that has no real basis in reality, having everything to do with another person's ego. If faced with a conflict, it's best to say very little before having all of the facts. This is especially true with legal contracts and communicating with figures of authority. To carefully consider the beginning means acting with modesty and listening intently to detect the cause of the conflict and to protect yourself from self-incrimination. A changing line 1. If one does not perpetuate the affair, there is a little gossip. In the end, good fortune comes. The theme of this hexagram is that talk is cheap. The conflict that you're facing right now is a small problem at this point. A situation usually entailing petty talk, gossip, unfair criticism, or even slander. Refuse to play the game rather than engaging. Your opposition is testing your restraint. Should you throw mud back at them and engage in the conflict, you'll incur greater damage and loss. Expending energy on defending yourself from those who are dedicated or dead set in their intentions to willfully misunderstand or smear you will be a waste of your time. Smile quaintly, shrug your shoulders, and let them have their uneducated opinion and let them walk away. Not engaging is a signal that the conflict is beneath your notice. Let them have the last word. Rule number 1 of this particular line is ignore the trolls. The gossip or slander fades with time. What matters is people see that you don't have a meltdown. A changing line 2. One cannot engage in conflict. One returns home, gives way. The people of their town, 300 households, remain free of guilt. The theme of this hexagram is about facing an opposition of superior strength, which could be an institution, public opinion, or even an authority figure. and your need to protect others or your own assets from further harm. Fighting the good fight out in the open here is a trap. To prevent further damage to what matters to you most, which could be your family, your employees, direct connections, or loved ones, the best thing to do is to walk away. This prevents their eventual involvement that could see them caught in the crossfire. Stay out of this particular trouble. These assets are counting on you to keep them safe. Standing your ground in this instance isn't honorable because it puts things that matter at great risk. Better to take the hit to your ego than risk losing the long-term wellness of others or your assets. Opposition of this magnitude described in this line requires an equally powerful authority, a collaborative effort to solve, or time and truth to expose and settle the dispute. It's better to settle and walk away. A changing line 3. To nourish oneself on ancient virtue induces perseverance. Danger. In the end, good fortune comes. If by chance you're in the service of a king, seek not works. The theme of this line is having your own personal character or your past deeds come under fire from someone else. Let your past character speak for you. This entails opposition that attacks your character directly, your decisions, or your previous successes. You'll be tempted to rattle off previous achievements, accolades, and to brandish your rank or your position. Don't do that. Let your previous actions and character speak for yourself. Your king or authority, should they be a good and fair one, will recognize the value of your contributions. If they don't see your value, don't defend their poor assumptions. Seek not works means don't look for validation or reassurance in this situation. Let the storm pass over you. Continue to deliver high-quality work and stay humble, and your opposition will have nothing to contest against you. Opposition here is defeated by being the most essential and the most quiet or humble about your own work. They cannot argue away your history. A changing line 4. One turns back and submits to fate, changes one's attitude, and finds peace and perseverance. Good fortune. The theme of this line is about confronting an especially toxic opposition. Discard the toxicity of the conflict, change your perspective, and choose peace instead. This is about outgrowing the need to contest a problem, regardless if you're right or wrong. If you have done wrong, immediately change your disposition to peace and make things right. To submit to fate isn't about giving up or losing. It's realizing the pointlessness of the struggle, especially if it's a lost cause or if the other party is incapable of change or seeing your perspective, and letting go for the sake of your own benefit. Stop trying to fix what's broken with them or the situation. Deal with resentment and let it go. Regardless of the outcome or if you need closure on an issue, the most important part is to have radical acceptance of the things that you cannot change and move on. Winning or being proven right will not make you happy in the situation. You have better things to do in the situation by moving away from it. A changing line 5. To contend before them brings supreme good fortune. This hexagram line indicates one of two things. One, it represents the arrival of the Great One that was sought out in the judgment of the hexagram to help set things right. This could be the arrival of a fair and impartial arbiter, a judge, mediator, or counselor, or the revealing of objective truth itself. Or it can imply that by proceeding formally with tact, maturity, and experience, you now have the space to reveal the truth in a conflict to begin to set things right. If it happens to be the latter, discard the need to fight dirty or to use underhanded measures of your opposition, or you risk losing your supreme good fortune. When you're engaging in this conflict, only state the facts, present the evidence, show all of your receipts, and keep it short and sweet to the point. The truth is about to have its day in court. You may be the just arbiter that may be called upon to mediate a conflict of someone else's problem because of your upright character. With a balanced, principled approach, you may help find a fair exchange for someone else. All factors here align and you are given the green light to engage in conflict. A changing line 6. Even if by chance a leather belt is bestowed on one, by the end of a morning it will have been snatched away 3 times. In this line in particular, the cost of winning or going through all the way to the end of a conflict has unintended consequences. The victory here that you experience is an illusion. Winning, regardless as to whether or not you're right, will provide a temporary victory or recognition, symbolized by the belt or the sash of honor in some translations. But you also win something else. It's a fight that never truly ends. Becoming what you won over is the danger here. Crushing the opposition instead of halfway compromise creates new enemies and a cycle of unending hatred from those who don't know how to have peace or are emotionally and intellectually incapable of walking away from conflict. This could also entail that general haters and opposition are now dedicated enemies that are now quietly in the process of snatching away what they feel is theirs. The war enters an unsettling quiet phase before they re-emerge to strike again. In the concept of statecraft in the I Ching or politics, this can indicate an authority or an influence that wins through underhanded means. If you have general questions, would like to contribute, need additional help interpreting material, or have a request on what you'd like to learn next, please email oracleodysseyinquiry@gmail.com. See you later.